Welcome, everyone. I'm Laura DeFranco, the CEO of Brave Healer Productions, where we have a mission to wake the world up to what's possible, one brave word at a time. And here today to help me with that mission are some of the amazing authors of a new book that we have coming out. This one is called On Purpose Woman, the complete holistic guide for spiritual entrepreneurs. I'm excited about this topic today. Before I introduce these authors to you, I want to say a huge thank you to Ginny Robertson. Ginny, you had a big vision. You've always had a big vision for your community and your business, and now this book. And I'm so grateful and honored to be here guiding this particular project of stellar expert authors to help our readers and viewers really understand what's possible when it comes to entrepreneurship. But we're putting that spiritual spin on it today, you guys. Ginny is an amazing connector. And I I can't say it enough. I'm very grateful to be here in your world doing this project with all of you. So who do I have here with me today? Jackie R. Scott is a seasoned executive leadership mentor and coach who leverages her multidisciplinary skills to help her clients tap into their strengths and build their capacity to rise above and beyond to excel and achieve their goals. Catherine Yarborough teaches women entrepreneurs how to manifest clients, be authentically vibrant speakers, and grow a business they love. And Tamara Robinson is a sex, intimacy, and body confidence coach, helping people over 40 get the love they desire so they can enjoy more pleasure and intimacy. Ooh, you made me say sex on this first interview. Okay, excellent. I love it. I know where we're gonna go with this one. Jackie, you're actually gonna start the party off today. Tell us about your amazing chapter.
Well, hello, everyone. Laura, thank you so much. My name is Jackie Scott, as you said, and my chapter is chapter 7, my lucky number 7. And my chapter title is Journey to Wholeness, the Path to Self-Acceptance and Creating the Business You Love. I wrote this chapter for women who are dealing with self-doubt, struggling with self-sabotage, holding themselves back, self-judgment, because I really thought that women needed to be free. They needed to be free to give their gifts and talents to the world. And in order to do that, we somehow have to figure out how to dial ourselves back and look at our histories and understand where the self-doubt and self-sabotage is coming from. What are our 8-year-old selves? What are our experiences telling us? How have they shaped us? And how are they preventing us from living the dreams that we have deep inside? So I've put some tips about my own journey and some really what I hope to be concrete steps for people to take to breathe free so that they can create the businesses they love and go out into the world and offer themselves to help others and to pour in and contribute to making this wonderful world an even better place.
Jackie, I actually think that the self-sabotage topic, like the awareness of what's happening in that mind, is probably foundational to a lot of things in terms of success in life and living a juicy, awesome amazingness, right? What else do you want to say about that as a kind of a first step for our listeners? Like, they might be listening to this topic for the first time, maybe not, but if you were going to take them to the next level of what that is and how to catch it, what would you say?
Well, I would tell them to buckle up, right? Be courageous, but don't be afraid to look yourself into the mirror, into your mirrors, and really identify for you, where is the pain coming from? Where is it? And do you even know that you've self-sabotaged yourself? Because sometimes you blame it on external things. And it just takes our willingness as a first step to just spend some quiet time sometimes with just a pen and a piece of paper, remembering the times where you thought you were on a path and something happened that either stopped it or it went left when you thought you were going right, and to just make note of them. And once you have that list of just a few, we can talk about then what are the commonalities? What was happening in your life that maybe caused you to stop or to hesitate or to internalize that voice that says, I can't possibly do that. So it just starts with sitting down, thinking about it, and actually writing it down, making it real. Because when you write it down and can look at it, you can pause and think about it. And don't worry about it because it doesn't have to be perfect. You can put it away and put it in your drawer, and no one has to see it but you. But we'll talk about faith, I know, soon. But it's that faith that when you open that back up, that spirituality, that centering that says, without judgment, how can I take what I've experienced and make it for the better and make it for the good and give myself to the world?
Nice. And of course, writing is my all-time favorite awareness tool. So you hit on that right away. And oh my goodness, this is one topic we could talk about for like hours and hours. But I just want to make one little comment, a little moment you gave me. You know, blame can be self-sabotage. So like I want listeners to, I'm going to rewind to what she said about that a couple of minutes ago. When you have caught yourself in blaming all the external, you got to pause and take a breath. And that can be, I call them ninja moves of awareness. Like, oh, and when we take responsibility for all of those things, life can change in an instant. I would imagine you would agree, Jackie.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. Jackie, thank you so much for being here today. We're going to talk to Jackie more in just a couple of minutes, you guys. Catherine, tell us about your chapter.
My pleasure, Laura. So before I tell you the title, I've got a question. Have you ever hit a wall when it comes to attracting clients? I'm assuming everybody who's here and listening and gets the book is an entrepreneur. And I know I'm not alone. When it comes to attracting clients, I have hit the wall over and over and over again in the past 21 years. So if you think you're alone in hitting that wall, you are not, my friends. And I work with people around that. So I know I'm not alone, and I know you're not alone. My chapter is chapter 2. Clarify what you want, how to attract clients, and grow your divinely inspired business. And I share an example of how I hit the wall and what I did overcome that to actually release it and come out on the other side and attract all the clients that I needed and wanted for that particular project.
I think what's so cool about this topic is, and you got me thinking, is that no matter where you are in your business, even starting a few years in, multiple years in, you're going to hit different walls. You might have startup walls, then it's going to be something different, and then it's going to be something different. And because we're going to share what's possible here in this book, I love that Catherine started with, you know, what's your wall? Like at whatever stage you're in. What else do you want to say about that, Catherine?
The wall doesn't have to stop you. So I totally agree, Laura. Whatever stage you're in on this journey of attracting clients and growing your divinely inspired business, you will hit walls at every stage along the way. What is cool for me at this point is that I don't believe the wall anymore. And the story, which is about clarifying what you want, when you get really clear about what you want and that you really want the more clients, or you really want your divinely inspired business to come to full fruition and be the vision that you imagine, and you get clear about that, nothing's going to stop you. You're going to get resources, both physical and from other planes of existence, to do that. And as you move forward as an entrepreneur, you will get it. You don't have to believe the wall. In the beginning, in those earlier stages, it's a lot easier to believe, oh, I don't have any clients, nobody's coming in, and it's not going to work. I've got to go get a job. And maybe, if you really want clients, there's a way for you to attract them.
Yeah, agreed. It's good to, I think that a lot of times you all are giving people some little spark of hope they needed in that moment to not give up. Because who here hasn't said, oh my God, maybe I should just go get a day job and quit all of it, right? I mean, we have all been to this place where like, right. And then, you wake up the next morning and you keep it going, which is why we're here to help you all in these different ways. Catherine, thank you so much for being here. We're going to hear more from Catherine in a minute as well. Tamara, I can't wait to hear about this chapter. Tell us everything.
Well, my chapter, well, first of all, I want to say thank you for having us here. And thank you to Jenny for bringing us all together. My chapter is number 5, and the title is Put Yourself First, Unlocking Passion, Pleasure, and Desires by Focusing on Yourself. Now, before we get into the S word, the sex word, or even the big O word, the overall theme of my chapter is self-care. And it could be self-care, self-pleasure, self-love, but it's really self-care, and not really even self-care as the trendy buzzword that it's become, because a lot of people talk about self-care. But what I talk about in the book, and what I talk about with my clients is allowing self-care to become a regular practice in your life, even a daily practice in your life. But that takes time, especially if you're new to self-care. But the chapter is really talking about tuning in to yourself, whether it's like for me, it started off with prayer and meditation, and then I started to really add self-care into my life. And that's part of the story that I tell in the book. But self-care is so important in our everyday life, just daily lives as women. And because it allows us to really understand ourselves and really take time to tune in and focus on who we are, what we desire, but also as entrepreneurs, focusing on yourself, or taking time to tune in, or maybe even taking a few minutes to pull away from your business, or making time into your schedule. Just like we schedule time with clients, we need to schedule time with ourselves as well. We can be our most important client, our number one client, especially if our business is based off of something that we've already experienced. So the overall theme is self-care, and the tool that I offer in the chapter just goes through a few steps as far as focusing on yourself, tuning in so that you can tune into your desires. But the theme is still there of self-care.
And you're right. Self-care has become kind of this hot topic, and everyone likes to write about it, but I'm kind of chuckling because like to get to that point where we have to remind people to take care of themselves is kind of funny to me. It's like, well, if you don't have the basics down, you're going to not be able to do anything for anybody in your business because you're going to be burned out so quick. But what I want you to comment on is we have been trained into some weird ass level of overdoing that we actually have to get back to what we're calling self-care, but I actually think is just basic health and wellness.
True.
Tell me more about how you feel about that.
Well, I believe, yes, we've been led down this road that self-care is selfish. That's what I hear a lot of people say, that self-care is selfish. But if we don't take, we're with ourselves 24/7. So if we don't take care of ourselves and we're constantly giving to other people, we'll eventually burn out and we'll eventually experience overwhelm. And I talk a little bit about that in the chapters as far as what happened to me and how I then came back into myself in order to find myself basically. And I didn't have self-care was not a part of my life. I was giving to everything and everyone else outside of myself. And I think that happens especially as women because we're natural nurturers, because it's very natural for us to take care of home or spouse or children, even our businesses or whatever it is that we do outside of ourselves. It's so much easier to look elsewhere. But when it comes time to tune in to who you truly are and who you are, what you want, what you desire, and those are that takes time. And somehow, for some reason, we have to learn how to do that again, even though that we should be the first on our priority list. Sometimes a lot of us, we don't even have ourselves on our priority list. So it's time to put ourselves on the list, put ourselves at the top of our list, and not feel bad about it.
Definitely. Thank you so much for being here and talking about this topic. Don't you ladies love how each of your topics is weaving together with the others as well, right? So the whole book is like that for me. And I have a thank you to all three of you, not just for saying yes to this project, but for taking up the challenge that I gave you to really give us your vulnerable, real stories to help us get to know you. But then for the readers, I can't wait for you to realize the powerful toolkit you have in your hands, because each of these authors is stepping up with master teachings for you, practical tools. This book is like, oh, if I just had that book when I started, things would be, whatever. As I'd love to say that, but these are full of those golden nuggets of awareness. And all of you, even already, are dropping your awareness nuggets, which I know is going to change somebody's life. Catherine, what does it mean to you to be an on-purpose woman in your life and business?
How fun that you asked me this question. I have felt like an on-purpose woman ever since I can remember as an adult. I actually got a download when I was in graduate school for dance. I was about 23, 24 years old, that said, basically, it is your purpose to teach people how to integrate body, mind, emotion, and now I would say spirit, but at the time the word was behavior that came in, so that they could be the healthiest that they could be. They could be as high functioning as they could be. From that moment on, I have been on purpose, doing my best to fulfill that mission. I became a dance movement therapist. I worked at a hospital setting. I started a private practice. I joined On Purpose Woman Networking at the time in 2001 when I started my business. And y'all, I thought I was the most on purpose of all the members in On Purpose. I was a little, I don't know, egotistic. Jenny years ago used to do a thing where a woman would get crowned the On Purpose Woman of the Year. I don't remember the exact term. And all these different people got, people said, this person, Laura or Tamara or whatever, got volunteered by somebody else. I forget the term, right?
Nominated.
And then nominated, thank you. Yeah. And then I think the members voted on them. Well, year after year, I'm sitting there in my little selfish cocoon thinking, I am so on purpose, right? I've been on purpose since I was early 20s, and I am so working it. And never did I get nominated. And every year I had to face that feeling of, how is it that those people are me? But now I realize that purpose looks different, and being on purpose looks different for different people. It feels different inside of each one of us. And in general, for me, just to answer succinctly, it's a feeling that there's something that I am here to do that's bigger than me, and I'm doing it.
I like that, that summary of that. And I especially love the feeling piece of it, because I think for me, it's in my body. And I know from my awareness there, when I'm aligned and on track and on purpose, and not telling you that was an easy road to get to that place where I knew what that was right away. But now that it's there, it's pretty powerful. Tamara, how about you? What does it mean to you to be an on-purpose woman in your life and business?
Oh, I love this question. For me, being an on purpose woman just means being tuned in to who I am, who I was created to be, who I was put on this earth to be, and connecting with who I was put on this earth to serve, and then following through with that, while also going back to self care, giving back to myself and filling up my cup and continuing to fill up my cup so that I can then continue to fulfill my purpose. But I really believe that um, fulfilling your purpose, or well, we're all here for a purpose. And the moment that you figure out or understand what that purpose is, and then you take the steps to pursue it, I think that's just a beautiful feeling. And then whatever type of work it is, it doesn't even really feel like work because it's something that you were created to do.
You're making me remember this quote I heard ages ago, and it went something like, there is no purpose to life. You give the meaning to your life. You get to decide what is purpose for you. And I think that takes some pressure off, because I know some young people right now who just like, I don't know, I don't know. It's okay for you not to know yet, but, and then the second part of that is, but follow the joy.
Exactly.
But follow the feeling of alignment. See if you can explore what alignment feels to you, feels like to you. So you're just making me think of that quote there. And I love the way all of you are answering this question, because our readers and our listeners today, they need to hear all of your beautiful, unique voices. They need to hear every single way you all answer this question, right? Jackie, let's hear yours. What does it mean to you to be an on-purpose woman in your life?
Well, I love the fact that we are using the word alignment, because I came across in reading one time where the author said, and I can't remember, but they said, the goal should be creating a job or a business where you don't feel compelled to have to take a vacation from, that you can be your whole self in what you do. And I match that with sort of vocation, like what is the calling and your passion? And when you can live it, to me, it's being in a place of contentment and peace. And I say contentment versus being satisfied or happy, because it's not about like sitting still, but it is about being at a place where even when it's hard, even when that client you thought you were going to get doesn't call you back, that you can be in a space with, I'm okay with that. That this is a no comparison zone. It is a zone where I am living my calling, and I'm okay with things. Sometimes they're not going to work out, and yet I don't give up on myself. And so I think being on purpose is that space where I can say I'm at peace and contentment, that I'm in the right place and I'm doing the right thing based on who I am, not who Tamara is or who Catherine is or who you are, Laura, but that I can come alongside and be wholly Jackie and be wholly fulfilled. And we can help each other in the world.
I love that. I think that's going to help a lot of people, because even when it's hard, I'm loving what I do. It does not feel like work. Even on the really crappy days, I'm actually pretty at peace. And so I love that you said that, because it can be both things at once in a day or in a moment. And when you have that as the foundation, just try to stop me, because if you're not, you're not going to do it.
Right, because that is what we need to stay in the game, right? Because when it gets hard, because you see all these people and you think, they're so successful, it must be easy. But the reality is, what keeps you in the game is when it gets hard, like, what do you do? And that you have people like Catherine and Tamara and yourself and Jenny and others to call on, or a great book like ours on your shelf where you can pull it off and read that chapter again and use that tool to know that, you can stay in the game. You can do it.
Well, you didn't know how perfect this was for this last question I have for all of you, but I'm going to move to Tamara first for the answer. So I really want, we can riff off that idea about the hard days for a minute, okay? Because we all have them. But I want to know what piece of advice you'd give to someone who might just be stepping on this spiritual entrepreneur journey to give them an easier entry point, something simple to start with to help them succeed. What would your nugget be?
Well, I would start with, this is actually what I start, one of the first steps that I work on with my clients is understanding your desire or your why. Some people say your why, but I call it desire because of the industry that I'm in with intimacy and relationships. But your desire, your why are you doing this? What is the true meaning of, or the true purpose of your business? Are you doing it for someone else to fulfill someone else's desire or someone else's goal for you? Or are you fulfilling it for yourself? And once you truly tune in to your desire, then you can then connect with the necessary steps that it will take for you to be successful. But it's your definition of success. And that's why I like to tune into desires or focus on desires, because it's almost like your desires create the roadmap or create the journey. It's the first step of your journey, and it creates the roadmap because then you know what your end goal is. So it's almost like keep the end goal in mind or focusing on your why. But what's your true desire? What lights you up? What makes you see your business as something that's a part of you as opposed to something that you do? And I also wanted to add on a little bit. We were talking about being on purpose. It's not a title. It's not about a title. It's not about what someone else says is right for you. It's what you truly want. It's what you truly desire. So that's what I would suggest to someone starting off on this entrepreneurial journey, is to just spend some time journaling, meditating on your why, your desire, and then taking the necessary step to get to that desire.
Yes, yes, yes. I'll give you the yes with an exclamation point on that one.
Yes.
Desires, I know it deserves the woohoo, right? The exploration of that means you're understanding who you are. I mean, this is not small potato stuff here today. You understand who you are at a deepest level, everything comes from there. The clients, the success, the everything, right? Yeah, awesome. Jackie, how about you? What's your nugget for people on this spiritual entrepreneurship journey? Tell us.
Well, I am right aligned with Tamara. I think we have to know our why. And in addition to that, I would challenge people to really spend time first defining your values, because understand what they are, where they come from, and what larger energy guides you. What is your spiritual foundation, your faith? For me in Christianity, it's God, and and my faith grounds me and keeps me steady. And I think you have to know your values, because it is tough to do business and to be an entrepreneur. And people can pull you off course if you're not sure, or you can be sometimes tempted to go in directions that are not in alignment with your values, and they will change you. And so you always want to be able to look in the mirror and know that you can see yourself, and you're not seeing someone else that you've turned into as a result of trying to run your business. So I always start with, as Tamara says, start with why and understand the values that undergird your why.
For sure. Also foundational. And really, I hope our listeners are just pausing for a moment and understanding that this is foundational. So you can get such an incredible start to everything you want to do if you start with why and values. Oh my gosh. Okay, Catherine, you're up.
Yes, absolutely. Tamara, Jackie, and you're saying, Laura, foundational for what they said. And not just when you start, wherever you are in your journey, you can explore again why, what are your desires, what really matters to you, and what are your values. Thank you both. I'm going to get a little more practical. The majority of people that I work with don't have many clients and may not even have any clients. Get started working with clients. I'm going to say it again, get started working with clients. If you want to grow a business, especially if it's a service-based business, which most of us on purpose spiritual entrepreneurs are, we have service-based businesses, get started working with clients. And what I want to say about that, a little bit more detail, is a lot of people get some training and they're invited to get some sample clients to work with to try out that modality or their coaching business or whatever. And you can think of that as like a free internship because you need the practice. If you haven't even gotten that, get started with free clients. Decide, like, tune in, get clear, how many free clients do I need to do to get confident enough to get paid? Next level, I'm going to say, do what I would call a paid internship, where you're going to ask to get paid by clients. It's not going to be the full amount for most people. And I will preach this till I die. Start getting paid. You do not have to get paid the full amount when you get started. Most people are not confident enough to ask for that money. So start getting paid in your paid internship. Decide inside yourself, first of all, how many people do you need to work with and get paid? Smaller amount. Make a plan to get those people, because it's going to be a lot easier to say, I'm charging $50 for a session than $300 for a session, and have people come in. You've got a limited amount of time to do that you've decided, then you're going to have more confidence and you'll be able to up your rates to where they're normal, and you're going to keep growing your business. And I'm feeling joy in that. Bye.
That's really, really great advice. In fact, one of my very, very first business coaches said, I want you to go have 30 discovery calls as your first piece of homework. I want you to give your time for free 30 separate times, and then let's talk, right? And that was the free service type of thing. And then the next piece was go do a beta of that program you want to charge for. Same thing as what Catherine is saying. You're not going to charge the full amount this first time, but I think my point that I want to add is you got to do it afraid and when you're not ready. You have to do it in these places where you don't have the confidence, you do have some fear and doubt, and you have to do it anyway. And grab hands with the lovely ladies here, grab hands with people who can cheer you along the way, right? I love that, Catherine, and so perfect for our entrepreneur crowd today. Oh my goodness. All right. Catherine Yarborough, Tamara Robinson, and Jackie Scott. Thank you so much for what you do in the world. And thanks for being here today to share with everyone. Thanks, ladies.
Thank you. This was wonderful.
Thank you.
Totally fun. Great to be with everybody.
So to all of our listeners, you're of course invited to the book launch party. It's coming for On Purpose Woman. We're going to have all of our authors on Friday, the 11th of August at 11 a.m. Eastern. I have info down below about that. But this is so much more than a book. I know something that you heard today might have given you the goosebumps or made you curious, or maybe you just need some support in some of the topics that were talked about today. So this is a very generous community of experts who are ready and waiting for you to reach out. I have all of these women hooked up with their websites below. Go explore the awesomeness that they have to offer. And this community is a hands-on, ready to help community. All you have to do is reach out. And of course, if you happen to be listening to this interview anytime after the August 11 date, well, that just means you got to get over to Amazon because the book is ready and waiting for you. And lastly, today, everyone, remember, your words change the world when you're brave enough to share them. So it is time to be brave. See you next time, everyone.